Question number 33. A generative AI engineer and an electronic company just deploy a RAG application for the customer to ask the question about the product that want the company carriers. However, they receive the feedback, the RAG response often return the information about the irrelevant product. What engineer to improve the relevance of the RAG response? Assess the quality of the retrieved content, implement catching of the frequently asked question, use the different LLM to improve the guarantee response, use different semantic similarity to search algorithm. So let's discuss each option. Option A, assess the quality of the retrieved context. This is directly address the root cause. If the RAG response is relevant, the first step is check what information system is retrieving from the vector, right? And by examining the retrieving chunk, the engineer can determine if the embedding model or chunking strategy is at the fault. And this is the most logical and fundamental step in debugging the RAG system. Assess the quality of the retrieval process. Option A is the correct. Now, coming to the point, option B, implement the catching for the frequently asked question. Catching is the performance optimization track. It is stored response for the common query and avoid rerunning the RAG process. Right. It doesn't improve the relevance and response themselves, especially for the new and varied queries. Option C, use the different LLM to improve the generative result. This problem is not with the generation part, but this is the retrieval part. Okay. Option D, use the different semantic similarity search algorithm. This is the potential solution, but this is the step after assessing the quality of the retrieval concept. First action should be diagnose the problem. The current algorithm might be fine, but the data itself could be the poor or chunked embedded. Right. So first step should be assessing the quality of the content retrieved context. Option A is the correct. A generative AI engineer is creating LLM-based application. The documents for the retriever has been chunked to maximum 512 token each. The generative AI engineer that cost and latency are more important than more than the quality of this application. They have a server context length level to choose from which will fulfill their need. Context length 514, context length 2048, context length 32768 or 500. So the question is the cost and latency. Smaller model and smaller embedding dimension generally result lower cost and lower latency. So smaller module require less memory to run and run the embedding dimension. Means less data to process and search leading faster query. And chunk size of the document is the 5.2. This is the crucial constraint, right? The model context length should be least the size to process the chunk, but the large length then necessary would be add unnecessary cost and latency. So option A, context length is 514. The context length just enough to handle the 512 token. So the model size and embedding size is relatively small. So this option align uh, with uh, stated goal, right? Option B have context length is much larger than the need, right? 204 page. Same in option C, but option D have a exact match. Right. Option have a 512, which is perfectly matched with the chunk size. It has been also a small model size, right? Uh, dot 13 GB and a smaller emitting dimension 348, right? So among of all these, I correct answer is option D. Question number 35. A generative AI engineer is designed a chatbot for gaming company to aim to engage user on its platform. While it user play online video game, which metric would be help them to increase the user engagement and retain for their platform? So for this, option A is randomness. A chatbot that responds randomly would like confuse and frustrate the user. Right. So leading to decrease in engagement. So correct answer A is incorrect. Diversity of response. A chatbot that provides a variety of different but relevant response to similar question or different context is more engaging. This prevents the interaction from the becoming boring or predictable, which help with user to retain. If chatbot always give the same canned response, user will quickly lose interest. Right. So option B is the correct. Lack of relevance. Chatbot that give the irrelevant response is useless and the word cause user to disengage immediately. So option C is incorrect. And repetition of the response. This is the opposite of the diversity, right? So chatbot repeat itself boring and single, a lack of intelligence or utility, which would divert user away. So correct answer is option B, diversity of this type. Question number 36. A generative AI engineer want to build an LLM-based solution to help the restaurant to improve its online customer experience with booking by automatically handling the common customer inquiry. The goal of the solution is minimize the escalation to human intervention and phone call while maintaining the personalized interaction. To design the solution, Gen AI engineer need to define the input data to the LLM and the task should perform, which input and output pair will support their goal. So, if we talk about the options, so in all the option, input is online chat log. Only option C have a customer review. Customer review is the only to know what was the feedback. So option C is incorrect here. So eliminated, cancelled. A, B, and D are the option on which we have to discuss. Option A is the online chat log, and the output is the group of chat log uh, user following summarize user each interval. So this would be useful for human manager to review the customer interaction, but doesn't directly solve the problem, automatically handle the inquiry. This is related to the post-interaction analysis task, not real-time handling. Right. Now option B. Uh, Output is button that represent choice of booking detail. This option describes the typical chatbot or the conversation of AI flow. The input is the ongoing chat with the customer, and the output is the set of actionable choice. But the guide of the customer throughput the booking process. So this approach will help to automate the interaction and reducing the human interaction. This is the by which we can very strong match with the prompt tool. So correct answer is option B. Question number 37. A generative AI engineer has created a RAG application. Look up the answer to question about the series of the fantasy novel that has been asked on another web forum. The fantasy novel texts are chunked and embedded into the vector store with metadata and retrieve the user's query provided to an LLM for response generation. Generative AI engineer used to use their intuition to pick the chunking strategy and associated with the configuration, but now want to more methodologically choose the best value. Which two strategies should generative AI engineer take to optimize their chunking strategy and the parameter? Okay. So option we have, option A, change embedding model and compare performance. Option B, add a classifier for the user query that predict which hook will the best contain answer. Use this to fit retrieval. Option C, choose appropriate uh, evaluation metrics and experiment with the change in the chunking strategies such as splitting chunk by the paragraph chapter. Choose the strategy of the given best performance metrics. So performance metrics, splitting chunk by the paragraph and chapter. This is something looks like correct answer, right? So let's talk about the option A. This is a valid optimize the strategy or RG application. It doesn't directly address the chunking strategy and parameter, right? So embedding model and compare performance. This will not addressing the chunking. So for the chunking, we have option C. In that, we are chunking with basis of the paragraph, chapter, and strategy. So option C is look like correct. Now come to the option D. Pass known question and base answers. So here it as in innovative but potentially complex and indirect approach, relying on the LLM to guess the optional token count might not be the reliable or transparent as the direct matrix based evaluation. So the result could be inconsistent, right? Option is talking about the chunking. So for the chunking, we have option D, but in D, uh, we can say relying on the LLM and guess the optional token count might not be the reliable or transparent as the direct practice. So this option is incorrect. Option E, use create LLM as a judge matrix. So this is the another excellent and modern or mathematical approach. LLM as judge is only common RAG evaluation technique, where it's a powerful used to LLM to use the secure and quality relevance of the retrieved context and final generated response. This provides the human-like uh, qualitative assets that can be used to optimize the champion strategy. So here we have option B and option C, which are the most direct effective strategy for the chunking. So, as per my point of view, correct answer is so as per my point of view, correct answer is option C and E. E is also talking about the chunks, and C is also talking about the chunks. And here it's asking for the chunking strategy. So correct answer is option C and E.